Hi, Hugo, Brock, Sinatra. How's everyone doing today? I think the big event of the week is going to be the NFP on Friday. Good. Stocks higher. Let me make this point. It looks like, hi, Ryan. Ryan, very nice call on Europound last week. I actually went for some last night. Um, S&Ps so far haven't made a new high after last week's new high. And I'm not saying that it won't, but NASDAQ 100 so far, potentially second lower high. So after this big down day we had, we retraced 88.6 almost. And then we took a big break, and then we got to 78.6 last night. So we'll see. Euro outperforming cable. That's why EG is working. And EG is penetrating some resistance here, and here's my objective is on the daily, it's about 87.40. If we could clear 85.80, I think we'll take out stops here and here. So this has been going on for a long time. What makes me think it's going to end is because of last week's action in Euro, and cable actually got to, an important resistance level Friday. It's interesting how things happen on Friday, and you don't expect important turning points unless there's an NFP. So the last week, the week before, I was looking for 91.40 in the dollar. You guys could hear me, okay? And we put in a low at the 91.76, 38% level. I don't think this is the end of the correction in the dollar. I'd sell rallies, maybe back to about 2.5 if we get up there. And I'm still negative yen. Maybe we get one more rally, but we had a rally last night in the end and already given it up. I just want to point out one last thing. I'm going to go to Ryan. Is I was looking at TLT over the weekend, and to me, it looks like it's an incomplete three drive pattern, which implies a pretty good rally in bonds for one more surge to the upside. It looks a lot different than the 10-year, where I'm not expecting the lows from a few weeks to be taken out, but we could continue to consolidate and head down to 118. But when I look at TLT, it looks like there could be one more advance to new highs. Maybe it's going to be a weak jobs number. We'll see. So, Tim, Ryan, can you hear me now?
Yeah, can hear you fine, Dale.
Okay, good. How are you? Nice call on Europound last week. Still with it?
No, I got out of it just
Okay.
before the fix. I dropped it because we've been all this buying and pounding into the fixes.
Yeah. Looks
I
like it
dropped
wants
because
to go,
I'm
doesn't it?
I'm core short. Yeah, I'm core short. So I was hoping it
Oh,
was going to break lower in the main, but I thought I'll try and play the short term level. I made some money out of it. I bought at
yeah.
05 and I got rid of it at 20s, and then I got rid of the rest about 03 or something. But I forgot to put it back on
Well, they say you've
after the
heard the
fix.
expression never sell a sleeping market, never
Yeah,
short a sleeping market, never
yeah,
sell a
exactly.
sleeping. Well, I mean, this is Rip Van Winkle,
Yeah,
right?
it is. That the 85 handle is just solid. I'm not too keen. Well, from a short perspective, I'm not too keen that we're above the 50 level at the moment. We're 85, 55 because we've got that zone 30, 40 that seems to be. I thought we cracked it last week,
Okay.
and but now we're back above today. And so likely it is we're going to get a run maybe up to 85, 80, 86. That'll be
Yeah.
the first area of resistance. The big one is still up at 87, 87.20. But you can see from that the prior high
Yeah.
recently, 86,
Yeah.
56.
I'd say you think there are a few buy stops over here, huh?
Yeah, I should think so through that
Yeah.
area. If we break, it definitely breaks the short term trend at least.
Okay, well, the strength is in against the dollar today is euro and Aussie,
Yeah,
and Aussie looks like it doesn't want to make a new low, at least right now. Actually looks like it could be a scalp to the upside. And I was thinking about this, and I've been looking for a top in the S&Ps for about 20 years. But as I thought about the S&Ps held up pretty well during the dollar rally, right? And this whole dollar rally, equities risk was still going on, and this should have been a headwind. So
yeah,
if they could perform in a headwind, what's going to happen? Well, we're seeing what's happening with the dollar softening up. This should be a tailwind for everything, including gold. But Friday gold's action was kind of strange to me after that breakout, and that we gave up this much, and now we're kind of back underneath the breakout, and all of a sudden silver is looking so much better. This looks like a bull flag developing here in silver. Yeah, you have a feel on the metals at all, Ryan?
yeah. It was a bit of a strange end to the week last week, wasn't it? Because we
Yeah,
saw these moves that you thought, okay, well, if the dollar's going higher, well, then gold should be coming off a bit more. But it seemed like we had an old fashioned risk move,
yeah.
and
Because I mean,
what did it end up?
we had this candle here where you could have said, well, if you thought this was the breakout, which I did,
Yeah,
and but now that
that's where
breakout's
you want
been
it to hold,
taken.
isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, you got to take things when you have them in this market, especially in August. Right? I mean, everyone is either on vacation or planning. They're planning to leave soon. So
yeah,
I don't know what your experience is in August, but markets thin out until after Labor Day. Kind of what
yeah. Well, when we're
happens.
not having virus pandemics and global
Oh,
financial banking crisis and all that sort of thing,
hey,
yeah, they're pretty quiet, Dale.
yeah, that's a good point. I wanted to ask you because Delta's coming down in the UK, right? But did you guys have another lockdown when Delta was spreading in the UK, or was
No,
it just business as
no,
usual?
yeah, the Delta's really only sprung up over the last sort of couple of months, really. We came out of our first part of lockdown March,
Okay,
second part
like
in
everyone.
May.
Yeah,
But it's there's a lot of cases. Really, it's all about the hospitalisations. That's the main thing.
I see.
The thing with the UK is that the whole of the lockdowns have been about stopping deaths from getting overwhelmed, because then you can see increased deaths. So as
Yeah,
long as the hospitalisations stay manageable, we're going to steer clear of lockdowns.
yeah. Okay.
Another thing I could tell you about the UK, you have crappy internet, man. You're lagging all the time. What's happening?
I'm on 150 meg.
I don't know, but doesn't sound like it. But anyway, okay, carry on.
Am I on the sound?
Yeah, you're cracking up every now and then, and I mean we can understand what you're saying, but
It's not
it's
not
not ideal.
exactly clean. Yeah.
It's breaking up. Yeah, other
Yeah.
people are saying
I'm on my phone box at the moment, so I've probably got about 20 tabs open. So I need
Okay.
to shut some of those down.
Yeah, you got it. You
See
got
if that
to
helps.
not trade from the spaceship when faces up.
that.
Got something dedicated to it. Hi, Stel. How are you, buddy?
I'm very good. How are you, Coach?
I'm doing pretty good. What do you think of this quiet August morning?
Well, we've been talking about this, equities and risk in general. You don't want to be shorting quiet markets, like you said. And
Yeah.
even when was it, a week ago, when we had a down day, a proper down day, like 2%,
Yeah.
and people were starting to say, "Oh, yes, this could be it." With yields here and it being August, not so fast. Unfortunately, we want two-way markets, but I don't think we're going to get them. At least not until Jackson Hole. So I'm not
When's
saying
that?
again, I'm not saying get long here because it's crazy. I mean, it really is crazy, but I would never short this market.
I'm always looking for a bearish argument, and the only one I could come up with is, NASDAQ really exploded on this last wave up, and, it's had some failed attempts at new highs. And the S&P's made a new high last week, and we'll see. It should be, you would think it's got 4440 in it, but just the leadership. What I can't figure out is what's holding up NASDAQ when you look at some of these I mean, look at Amazon. Microsoft doesn't look that great. You know, it could make another run. Google had the best reaction earnings, and it's not near new highs. Facebook had a negative reaction to earnings. Netflix. So I'm wondering where's the strength coming from in Nasdaq 100? Must be stocks I don't look at. So
Yeah.
you know. Anyway.
Jackson Hole, by the way, is 26th to 28th of August.
Oh, okay. All right.
So,
All right. So let's bring Blake in. What was the high temperature in Phoenix this weekend? Can you
No, it
report
wasn't
on
so
the
bad.
chart?
It wasn't so bad. And
Yeah, my buddy told me he only got to 100 or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, it's still summer, so I'll complain as long as it's still summer. But anyway,
All right. Yeah.
you know, everything's it is a quiet market, as you guys were talking about, and you know, this week is important as we go into the jobs this week, and you know, Ryan, Stelios, good morning, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Good morning, Blake.
very well,
Hey,
thank you.
so what aside from the jobs data on Friday, I mean, I mean, the jobs data is the jobs data, and obviously it's an on-farm payroll, and everybody pays really close attention to it. But you know, as we are, you know, as we're you know, kind of working through the data this week, do you think that's going to be ultimately the most important thing that is released this week, or do you think maybe like the GDP numbers, you know, on Thursday, or maybe some of the ADP, the ADP numbers take away from some of the shine of the jobs report? What do you guys think about that?
Frankly, I think that unless it's a huge beat or miss, I don't think any of these numbers are going to matter. It being the summer, no. So that's my view.
How about if they make progress on the infrastructure bill here in the U.S.?
Well, that's supposed to be done this week, right? So I think the market kind of realizes it's going to be done. Same with the debt ceiling. Market, it realizes, look, every time they raise it, there's no, okay, there was one time when they were shut down for a few weeks, or what was it? But in the end, at the end of the day, you know, they're never going to let this go through. So I think the deal is going to be done, the debt limit is going to be raised, and everybody's happy. That's what the market thinks.
Ryan, what do you think? I mean, what do you think about any of the data that's coming out? I actually think data is important. I mean, personally, I do. I know, Stelios, you maybe don't think it's so important, but I do. I actually think all the data that's coming out is going to be more market moving as the central banks become a little bit more sensitive to economic data. Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the case getting into sort of September, October, November.
Yeah.
You know, we've got the rest of the PMI stuff out this week. That's always important in, you know, just to get the look at the close look at the, you know, data's services, manufacturing ahead of the hard data. And we're going to look at the individual bits like inflationary pressures and things like that. If you're a macro trader, you know, and I follow
all I heard is Ryan, you're as Stelios was pointing out, you're breaking up pretty bad this morning. So
yeah, you sound like you're in a bathtub.
A fish in a fishbowl.
Might be in a little bit of a fishbowl there, Ryan. Anyway,
goldfish trading, you have to have a fishbowl. Yeah.
Ryan. Yeah. Well, yeah. We're probably gonna have to maybe Stelios and Dale and I will talk about this. Well, Ryan. We do. Well, the good news is when you're in our chat room, we don't have to worry about your about your data messing up. So anyway, it was good to hear from Ryan a little bit earlier. But let's talk about the Aussie. We have the RBA that actually is meeting. Well, they have their decision actually tonight, which is, you know, obviously Tuesday morning. And so with the RBA, they are expected to keep rates unchanged. The one thing that we have to continue to pay attention to with the Aussie is that we've had some key rejections here, and I'm about ready to turn bullish if we can get above the 74.20. while we're below 74.20, I still cannot get bullish because we haven't reached the target coming out of the triangle, right? And we haven't completely reached that target yet. And also, I would love it if we got down to 70 cents. I just don't know if we're going to make it down to 70 cents at this point. But one of the things with the Aussie and what's happening in Australia is they continue to deal with lockdowns, and that's a problem, right? I mean, I'm just going to use an example of working with Pepperstone, our preferred broker at this point in currencies. So, and they, by the way, are one of the sponsors of this webinar. You can see Pepperstone Securities. But working with them, we've been trying to do this this thing where we're working with their studio and a couple of the producers, and people can't even get around there in Melbourne, and that's a problem, right? I mean, I don't think we're going back into lockdowns here in the U.S. At least Dale's not. Dale's going to break loose out of his, he's never getting chained down again. But U.S. might be a little different than some of these other countries. You take a country like Australia, they are dealing with these perpetual lockdowns.
And they don't even have like the kind of spread we have here at all.
No,
hardly have any spread.
Yeah, so I mean, it's one of those things that I don't know how much the RBA is going to, how
they can't be hawkish with this going on. Do you think, Blake?
I don't think they can. I don't think they can. That's why I'm real hesitant to be a buyer of the Aussie at this point. But I get, technically, if we get back above 74.20, I have to be bullish because it's that justifies me being bullish, at least technically. That probably means that the RBA did say something that was hawkish enough to catch the market off guard. I have to assume that everybody else feels the same way we do regarding the lockdowns and the RBA's approach of being dovish. But technically, if we get above 74.20, 74 and a quarter, then all bets are off at that stage. Still, does she have any thoughts here regarding Australia?
Well, the lockdowns is a very important thing, like you said, and it's frankly, as an outsider, I'm seeing what they're doing, and they're quite draconian, right? For a few cases and only a handful of deaths or whatever it is. There, I mean, I guess that's that's the way to do it, probably. If you want to be draconian, yes.
Very good way to describe it.
I guess that's the way to do it, so that you're always one step ahead, or you try to be one step ahead. But yes, this is going to weigh on the Aussie, that's for sure. Now, what is the RBA going to give us? That's the question. This is not something new. This is, the whole thing about the COVID and the Delta variant is not something new. It's not something that's, it's recent. It is fairly recent, but I don't think they're going to be, I don't think they're going to do anything too dovish, but I think they're just going to stick with the plan and stick with the way they have been for months and months now. But
and like I said, for the Aussie, for me, it's really clear. I mean, we are in a bear flag pattern, as you guys can see here, bear flag pattern, and we have this descending trend line that cap the rally like a charm. So as long as we stay below that trend lines, as long as we stay below this previous breakout point, this 74.20 level, as long as we stay below that, there's no reason to be bullish. I want to be bullish because I want to be at the point that we're past all this. We're moving past all this. But look, I mean, I know Ryan's probably not here anymore, but
Hello. Can you got me?
Oh, you are. Hey,
yes,
Ryan.
He corrected everything.
I know he's a sneaky little guy out there. Ryan, hey, so I mean, you guys are going to get some booster shots. I guess that's an AstraZeneca thing. Is that what that is?
Yeah, news came out that we're getting them in September. Apparently, 32 million people are going to be allowed to have it and whatnot. So,
what, over 60? People over 60 or
no,
what?
I think it's going to be the vast majority, probably
how
from
about that?
18 to to
All right.
Blake's age, the 90s.
Okay.
Did you just say to Blake's age?
Yeah, well, I didn't want to say it to coach.
All right.
Yeah, I'm
well,
I'm the
that's
target
funny.
for that.
Considering that we're the same age, Ryan, that is funny. But UK is being pretty, pretty
Jabby.
well.
Yeah, we're
Or
well jabby.
yeah, jabby, but more. What's the word?
Proactive.
Or proactive? Yeah, I think is a good thing.
Yeah,
Now,
because Biden's saying he's saying no need for boosters yet.
yeah, I mean,
I think it depends.
look, when's
on
the
how
last
far
time
The
you
whole thing's
listened?
so confusing.
When's the last time you listened to a president? And what?
Yeah.
And
I think it's on how far down the path you got with your vaccines. We were jabbing,
Right.
one of the first to start jabbing. So you're probably we're starting to get people who are 6 months in, that sort of length of time. So yeah, they're thinking about boosters for probably those sorts of people.
I think
Because it drops to about 40% efficacy, most of these vaccines after 6 months, I believe. That's what.
Yeah,
I'm
I think it's the same with the flu, and they just adjust it. It's going to be like the flu jab, where they adjust it every year for whatever variants coming up next.
Well, the Sterling's been underperforming today, and as Dale said, great call on the Euro Sterling bounce over the last couple of days. I know people in our chat room have been trading it. A lot of people have been playing it on the long side because of your call down here at 85 pence. So it's made a nice little move. Overall, I got to ask you this, Ryan, just being in the UK and you, I know, focus a lot on what the sterling's doing. Are you overall bearish the euro sterling, or are you bullish the euro sterling? Or maybe a better question is, are you longer term bullish or bearish the sterling in general?
Well, I'm short, been short since last year, so I am bearish euro sterling.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, just cable's a different beast. I've got my range in cable, sort of 135, 140-ish, then up towards the sort of highs 142s. But in euro sterling, I'm really looking for this break of 85, 84, 80. If we get that, then we're heading down to potentially that double bottom you can see there, 2020. Around about the 83, 83.50 around there. You see those double bottoms there. And what I'm looking for also is even if we don't break this level, the more times we're testing this 85 handle, the greater the break is likely to be. So again, as we spoke last week, I've still got sell stops sitting in there 84.70 just to catch a break, because potentially when one does come, it's going to be fairly volatile, I would hope, and then you're going to catch some pips out of it on that side. But if it doesn't, if the level holds, then we trade it for longs as as we were last week and as people are doing now. And we
that's one of the benefits of one of the, I'm sure, many benefits of being non-American. As an American, as a North American trader in America, we have to be directional in our trades. And I know, like, you happen to have a longer term euro sterling short, but you played it short term on the long side. And I think that's really, for you guys, across the pond, that's a real benefit. For us, it's like I can't be long-term bearish in the euro sterling, but bullish near term, trading it tactically the other direction, in the same account. I just can't do that.
Yeah, you got the FIFO rules and everything.
Yeah, we have the FIFO rule really screws with us, which, I envy you guys, because I missed that. Some of you that have been trading currencies for more than 10 years probably remember being able to trade like that. It was really nice. I've almost forgotten it. It's been so long. Anyway, all right. Well, thanks for your thoughts there. Stelios, what else is happening this week that really has your attention?
First of all, just to finish up on the Aussie, one thing that
we'll finish with that. Just kidding.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What worries me about the Aussie and the Kiwi, is that even with the risk grinding higher and oil doing well and everything commodities, they're still struggling and struggling. They're not going as far up higher as they should, I think. So imagine what's going to happen when stocks sell off, if they ever sell off. Anyway,
and with you saying that, I just want to say that there will be a point, and I know that you guys probably think I'm crazy, and I know I've been saying this for the last year. There is going to be some point where the market actually finds a top and we start getting two-way price action. We'll start getting a sell-off. We're going to get some profit taking. We're going to get people reversing course because monetary policies change globally, and the reins start to get tightened, and we start to see money supply shrink a little bit out there. Believe it or not, there is such thing as a two-way market, right? there is. And what we will see at some point is we're going to see some selling in equities. You could call it a 10% correction, 20% correction, 50% correction, whatever you guys think is going to happen. I think we're probably more along the lines of a 10 to 15% correction sometime this fall. And when that happens, you're going to see the Aussie dollar fall as well, as it's a risk on currency. But what you will see at some point in the sell-off is you will see the Aussie diverge and stop going down. And that's the point where I will be looking to take longs in the Aussie. So I just need to point that out, because right now it is diverging in the opposite direction. This is the reason why myself, Stelios, the rest of the Forex analytics community, we've been focused on shorting the Aussie dollar because it can't rally in a risk on environment. How the hell is it going to rally in a risk off environment? And that's been our whole basis for shorting it for the last 300-400 pips. Anyway, go ahead.
Exactly.
Stelios.
So to answer your other question, we have some data this week. We already started having some PMIs, manufacturing PMIs, mostly beating expectations. The other thing we have is also Bank of England. And remember, this is inflation report month, and the Bank of England always likes to make any significant changes or announcements or any things of the like on those 4 months of the year. So we have to be vigilant over that. I don't think they're going to give us anything extraordinary, although inflation is going high in the UK as well. They're probably on the same transitory camp. PMI is well above 60. Actually, no, above 60, still, really strong readings. And these things all show us that inflation is here to stay for a little bit longer than people think. So I'm going to keep an eye on the Bank of England. I still think Europound has one last leg to go lower. I think we're going to see 83 handle. I've been saying this since months now, and it's going the right way. And I do think we're going to see 83s, and then I'm going to take a long in Europound for the first time in years, probably.
Interesting, so, Ryan. I hope you're hearing that. And by the way, that the sterling all-time high up here above 211. The high was marked during an inflation report release, and I remember vividly turning around and shorting the pound dollar at like 208.50 or something like that.
Wow.
After we reached for obviously that's when I really started just being on the short side of the sterling, right up there. But that was an inflation report hearing. That the inflation report that you're talking about this week, that is what moved. That's what put in the absolute high there, the generational high, which I know Ryan doesn't want to hear this, but I don't know if we'll ever see that level, not in my lifetime again. But, I actually think that the generational highs and lows are probably in for the remainder of my career in currencies, personally. But anyway.
It's worth noting from the Bank of England as well that we've got the new lady on, Mann, who's taking the hot seat for a first meeting. It's also Vliga's last meeting as well. Yeah. So whatever he votes and says doesn't really make a blind bit of difference.
Vliga was always a dove, and now
he's always dovish.
But he's turned a little bit hawkish recently. I don't know.
Anyway, his last comments, I believe, was that he's not ready to change policy at all and keep it running for a few more quarters. So he's still on the dovish side. Mann's said to be on the dovish side as well. Pretty much from picking up picking through her recent comments, she's in a wait and see mode as well. But
Are there any hawks anywhere in the world?
No, well, she's it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with inflation, whether they're going to ratchet it up, because if they do, the target's 2%. I don't think they're going to start switching to letting it run hot or an average thing like the Fed. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the forecasts.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Well, hey, I just wanted to let everybody know. I was actually just posting something in the trades room. Just want to show you guys what this looks like. This, for example, I just picked up the US dollar rand, but if you want to see what what we're doing, I was limited out of the euro sterling long for 35 pips, playing it on the long side this last week. We have our general chat room, we have our Forex Flow live chat room, we have news and research room. There's a lot of additions that we've made in the Forex Analytics family. So just wanted to let you guys know that if you haven't taken advantage of the pricing, our pricing will only stay with the discounts a little while longer. We're trying to get everybody converted over at this point, from the Forex Flow live community. So we're keeping the prices discounted as a result. When those get removed, I don't know when the next time that we will run a special. We haven't run a special since, January 1st or January 10th or whatever, whenever we canceled or whenever we took our prices back. So, this was a seven month time span that we went without offering a discount. So now we have a discounted amount. That is because of the Forex Analytics, Forex Flow merger. So make sure you guys take advantage of it. All right, guys, I'm going to let Dale take over. Stelios, Ryan, Coach.
Cheers, Blake. Cheers, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Good hunting, guys.
Speak to you tomorrow.
Remember, not a lot of game out there in August.
Plenty of beer.
All right. Okay. Welcome back, Chris.
By the way, Thomas, welcome to the family, Thomas. See you in the chat room, buddy.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Good luck today, Blake, Ryan, Sel, my Trading Warrior brothers, and I bring on another one, Christopher Inks. How are you, my friend? It's been a long time. It's always great to catch up with you. Welcome back. Waiting for you to unmute. Let's see. Here we go. Ask to unmute.
Unmute. Okay, there we go. Can you hear me now?
Got you, Chris. How have you been, buddy?
Oh, man, I'll tell you what, I've been pretty good. And you might be hearing some thunder or something going on here. We've got some pretty crazy weather coming in. So I apologize ahead time if I get knocked out here.
That's all right. Where are you, San Antonio?
Yeah, just north of San Antonio in Bernie, Texas.
Okay. Yeah, we one of our guys is in San Antonio. Okay, so here we are. I was interested in getting your count, and I agree with it. I guess I'm trying to fine tune where the next long entry in the dollar would be. I don't think it was Friday. Do you, Chris? We held above a fib level. I was looking for 91.45 or so, and you have some levels underneath. What do you have there, buddy?
Yeah, well, so with what I've got here, I'm not sure if we've got a low in here yet or not. I've got it marked as such a moment here. Let me zoom in. Well, so real quick, here's the big picture. I mean, a lot of people aren't into the whole Elliott wave thing, but I think we've got a great case to be made here for a potential double bottom coming on.
Yeah.
So we just kind of need to break out above this this swing high right here, right around that 93.47 or 43 area.
Yeah.
And, if that confirms, we stop as we should normally do. We found resistance right there. We pull back. So if we're breaking out, I mean, pattern target gives us this move back up here to around 97.62 up here. And for me, that's important because it takes us above this, my wave 4 I have over here at 94.74. And if we're getting above that, that's kind of a good confirmation, first confirmation that this bottom is probably in here. And
for even higher levels after it achieves 97, or is this rally to 97? I know a lot of people are looking for this just to be a bear market rally to the 95 to 96 level, and then we're heading south in a big way. You're not seeing it that way.
Oh, I mean, it's definitely possible, but I think once we're popping up above that wave circle 4 over here, I think once we're getting above that, I think it's harder and harder to call it a bear market rally. It still could
Okay.
be, again at that point, we're still only looking at that 1, 2, and a third there. We need that fifth wave coming in, but
Okay.
I think it's really what the dollar's done since January. I think has really kind of caught people off guard. Me, I've been dollar bullish for a while here. It took a little bit longer to get there than what I had anticipated, but these larger macro.
Yeah, 91. Check out my memory. 91 was your critical pivot point.
Yeah, right
Am
around
I right?
there, yeah.
From like 4 months ago when we talked, 91 was a big number.
For this recent one here.
Yeah, for the dollar. Yeah, you said we start
we
getting
were
back
looking
above
somewhere right around
91.
there.
So we shouldn't take out 91 on this correction, should we?
I don't think so. I mean, I think if we zoom in here a minute, let me see. Yeah, I don't think so. We've got this, what I call it this daily demand structure in the blue here.
Yeah.
And I think we should hold right there.
Okay.
Now, obviously, if we're dropping below this kind of, this swing low over here at this 91.5, that means the count, we're going to invalidate the count here because we've got this as a 1-2-1-2 right now. But even if that, it doesn't necessarily mean that things are up and over with yet. So, I think we kind of just see how this plays out here. Last week, dollar kind of went down a bit, took a break after going up so much. So we'll kind of see if it can kick in now at this point, because if we're doing this now and just breaking out of this descending channel here, I think we're headed up to new local highs here, heading up higher.
Okay. So the dollar, if my buddy Ben Maldonado was in the room, he calls the dollar the wrecking ball. Okay, so if this count is right, is it going to wreck everything?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, I think the dollar it's been the play, especially since the beginning of the year when we had that what may end up becoming that macro low down here at the beginning of January. At that time, somewhere around that time, we were talking, and I was discussing about how the dollar bears were so offsides. It was something like 94%, bearish or something.
Yeah.
And
now
and
it's kind of neutral.
Reversal.
It's kind of neutral now, isn't it? 50% hanging right around neutral.
Yeah. People are starting to kind of get a little curious because now, they've been trying to short this, still coming off, this high here, and here we are back up here again. And now they're like, well, if we break out,
Yeah. Okay. So the recent high we have didn't take out the high that we had back in the beginning of the year or last year. So, the bears would probably have their stops there. So let's see, kind of have your picture in the dollar. I'm assuming it's going to be pretty negative for precious metals because
again, I haven't really even changed anything. My gold count, I'm still looking for it. Let me zoom out here a bit for anybody maybe hasn't seen this yet, because this usually puts people on their anger issues.
Oh yeah, like calling for lower Bitcoin does to people.
Yeah, exactly. People get real personal about it. But I'm still looking for this move down here to 1,000, maybe 900. We'll see what goes on at this point. We had a good bounce coming off here, but I've still got it potentially headed down lower. So if we get a little closer here, let's see here. Yeah, let me see. I haven't checked.
Will gold hold up better than silver? Because the gold silver ratio made a bit of a move in the last 60 days. It's kind of given it back a little bit here, but okay. So what are you seeing here? Let's stay with what you're.
Well, right now I've got this as potential. Let's see, we're now as of last week.
Yeah. Okay.
This is a 4 dropping, prior to this one here, but now we're dropped into it. And so if I'm looking here, let me see, it looks like maybe an ABC down. What do we got here? Yeah, this may still be wave B playing out potentially here. So ABC down, ABC up, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll get 5 down for a flat correction right here. And then kind of move on up here toward, 1848 or maybe 1860, maybe. kind of hits this little cluster of supply up here.
Okay.
And unless we just kind of lose this low down here, this 1750. If we lose that, then I see this as a 1-2 here.
Yeah.
And so that would just be done, I guess, right in this area here. If we do lose this swing low over here, but until then, I think we maybe just have this flat correction. So bring this back down a bit, and then back up to finish it out, and then head back down. I don't see anything overly bearish with the dollar, and so that makes it hard to see anything really overly bullish with gold and whatnot. I think people, most of their trading based, their precious metals ideas is this whole thing about inflation and
Yeah.
I think it's a misunderstanding of what's going on. They say, oh, the Fed's printing trillions of dollars and whatnot, and so there's all this inflation. But I think this inflation that we're seeing in prices, other than asset prices, QE is deflationary. It's meant to raise asset prices.
Mm-hmm.
But the real inflation that people think about and they talk about is actually what's created at the bank level. When you go in and you get a loan at the bank, and so we're just seeing a little bit of a rise in that recently, but for over the last year, basically, that thing shut off. Banks are still real nervous about loaning out right now.
How about higher wages? That's not very transitory when it comes to inflation.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I just think, I don't think people really get it. I think they're just, they see, oh, the Fed is going to put all this money into QE, and they immediately think, oh, that's inflationary and everything's going to go up. I mean, there's so much talk of hyperinflation on, across social media. And I just think it's kind of ridiculous.
What do you think about the problem of all these banks having too much cash on hand and all the reverse repos that are going on? And I believe the Fed set up some type of facility for the banks to offload that extra cash and backstop a money market account.
Yeah, exactly.
What's going on there? What's going on?
Well, and that was I'm glad you actually brought that up, because that was something I wanted to mention real quick, was that, so, again, if inflation is the banks creating loans, right? Not the Fed, it's the banks creating the loans, right? Because the money the Fed makes doesn't actually go out of the markets. It, hits your primary dealers, and then it becomes this asset swap thing with treasuries. And so it's just really a ledger thing. But the banks are flush with cash. We know that because we hit $1 trillion on the reverse repo, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to ask yourself, well, if everything's fine, why are the banks not loaning? Why are they instead choosing to take this very, very small little bit of interest they're going to get on this reverse repo? And I think that's the big thing that's kind of going on at the moment right now, because if things were as great as everybody wants to believe they are, and if the economy is doing so well, then why aren't banks loaning? They're just taking that money and doing, now we've got that permanent reverse, that whole reverse repo thing going on, and it doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah, I've never heard of too much liquidity being a problem. It's usually the other way.
Yes, exactly. And so, I think that's the big thing. I think you have to kind of ask yourself, well, if that's going on, why is that going on? Maybe what we're hearing, maybe what social media and, all the armchair economists out there talking about, inflation and incoming hyperinflation, all this, maybe they're mistaken. Maybe they're not understanding. Maybe the money isn't, being printed like they think, to get where they think it's going. And so I think that's all going to be dollar bullish then.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's see what your counts are in stock indexes since we last talked. I don't know how many more successive new highs we've made in S&Ps and NASDAQ. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's the never ending. Every time you think there may be a top, it just kind of gets a little bit extra. But it's I think it's become quite stretched. Locally here, I'm looking at the possibility that we've got this flat correction going on here. So ABC down here for A, ABC up for B, and then 5 down for C. That would give us this wave 5 of 3 up here, just around the 1 hour R2 pivot there at around 44.50. But if we zoom out here, the bigger picture, I think is just kind of this right here. And so, I mean, if people want to look at this and go, okay, well, what am I looking at? Well, I'll tell you what, if you see an impulsive breakdown below the pivot here on the daily, I think that should get your attention and pay attention to it. But
Where
with
is
my
that coming in, Chris?
That's coming in right here at about, let me see, right there around 43.50,
Okay.
right there at 43.50. Yeah. So,
Okay.
and by impulsive breakdown, what we're looking at for is some expanding volume and larger candle spreads coming down through that.
Yeah.
It's not in itself a signal that some kind of top may be in, but the fact that we're moving in sideways between the pivot and the R1, if we lose that pivot on that, you're going to want to watch this wave circle 4 right here at the 42.24 area. And if we can lose that, then that starts opening, the move down, because that just kind of closes off. This is done, 5 and done here. But
Okay.
I mean, there's what it is. I mean, it just keeps on kind of grinding up.
Yeah.
And we saw
all kinds of divergences with this. What's this? A daily? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
pretty
we're
much.
not we've been diverging since when? Last fall.
Yeah, exactly. And then we kind of restarted once again right here around April, around tax day, original tax day.
Right.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's we'll just play it long until it goes down.
Okay. And view on what else is on your radar? You have a feel for Bitcoin? Is this a bear market rally, or was that the low under 30K?
Well, so this is a good thing here. So I kind of made a bit of noise. I do a couple of public live streams every week.
Yeah.
And right up here around this February through April area, we had a lot of, you may have seen, I don't know how you could have missed it, but a lot of the whole laser eyes and diamond hands and have fun staying poor and all this kind of really euphoric retail stuff. Right.
Yeah.
And I was warning pretty strongly there that, hey, listen, it doesn't have to be the top, but it's going to be some kind of top most likely coming here, because just retail thinks that it can't ever end. They think, they mock anybody that's talking about a possible pullback. And, sure enough, we get it here. And so now the question for me is this area up here. It's do we have a 3 and then A, B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we get this large flat correction here.
Mm-hmm.
And so then this becomes 4 in the bottom and we're up, or is this basically an ending diagonal here, a rising wedge? So you get this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 3. And then this just becomes basically A. It's 5 down for A. This becomes A, B, C up here for B. And then we're headed down to at least 23, potentially this 19,000 kind of area, at least.
Yeah.
And so we don't, I don't know if we know which one it is yet. Again, looking here from, sorry about that. Got all these weather alerts going off. But we had this really good move up here. And so right now, again, we're kind of at that same area as what I was just talking about over there on the E-minis over there. We're moving in between the pivot and the R1. So we're pulling back here. As far as the daily goes, we've got all this demand in this wick right here from the 30th of July.
Yeah.
And I want to see that hold. If I can see that hold and we can get a new high here, I think this just becomes the bottom potentially down here. And then this is 1, and then a flat correction here for 2. And then this becomes a 3, 4, we got a 5 heading up. And I think that becomes the bottom there. Now, when I'm looking at this, as you can see, this was my target up here, and we kind of went right up into that, which was great. But when I look at this larger range right here, what I notice is we've got a strong bit of volume coming at the beginning. We've got this spring that sets up in here, much less volume.
Right.
And then we have what basically becomes, you've got a test here of this spring. And that volume's really low. And again, coming on over here,
even lower.
Low. Yeah. So there's no real interest in selling at those levels. And then we were followed here with this great, bullish engulfing candle here in this takeoff. Yeah. And so if I'm looking at that, I mean, you expect the pullback here. It's the top of the range.
Right.
But I think it starts making a real good case for a potential bottom to be in. But what we're going to have to see is another higher high coming off here, so we can get this, again, as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of thing moving in here. Okay. So I think, if you're in Bitcoin, I think if you're seeing, again, an impulsive breakdown below this daily pivot, I think that's your first clue to pay attention. It might be just an ABC here, as I have. So this A, and then this B is this flat correction, and then a C up here. And so that just finishes again your A, your B, and then you're going down 23 minimum, potentially 19 or even lower as it does that. And I think that would just kind of really catch some people off guard. But I'm not convinced yet that that's going to happen. I'm open to it, but I'm not convinced yet.
How about WTI? It's been relentless.
Oh man, I'll tell you what.
And you're a Texas boy, so I know you follow oil. All right.
Oh yeah. And it provided some excellent opportunities, some excellent money to be made here.
Yeah.
In the past few months with the USD loonie, right in that dollar strength in that. And so right now, potentially I've got us as a 1-2, but we're coming up pretty high here. So we're going to see if we can get this impulsive breakdown here that takes us below this swing low right here at 70.5, basically 70.56. Okay. If we can get below that, I think then this is this 1-2, and we're heading down to, the 40s. This just finishes wave A up here.
70-50 line in sand.
That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for right now. But, this has gone up a bit more than I thought it would. So I'm definitely open to it potentially heading up higher into the 80s maybe before we finish off.
What do you have two at a possible two up there at where is that, 76, 78?
So right here is right there around this two, or the first two over here? This one?
The one to the right.
Oh, this one over here that we just had?
Yeah, where you have above it, you have a you're thinking maybe we could test the underside of the broken trend line, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's possible, but if it goes above this red line, which is this other wave two over here, it's 75 and 52. If it gets above that, then that invalidates it. It looks like we may have just an ABC down, and we'll head up into the 80s maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, best way for people to follow your excellent work, Chris.
HowToTradeToWin.com, man, or they can follow me on Twitter at TX West Capital.
Thank you so much, my trading warrior brother. Always great to hear, a bear that also, knows where the case changes. And thanks for providing some lines in the sand for us in, S&Ps and gold and the dollar and WTI. So very nice interview, and thank you for sharing I know you spent a lot of time on research and getting your counts. It's, so I appreciate you sharing it with us, and I recommend that people follow you and check you out.
I appreciate it, Dale. Thank you.
All right, buddy. So, we'll be talking in the fall. I'll leave you a note on Twitter. Okay, buddy.
Awesome. I appreciate it, man.
Okay. Christopher Inks at Texas West Capital, where you could find him on Twitter. And that's going to be a wrap for us today. See everyone for Turnaround Tuesday. Good hunting the rest of the day, and you could join the team. And I'd call it about 22 minutes on the morning edge. Remember, don't just count your waves or anything else. Count your blessings. You're very welcome, Hugo, Alexander, Ingmar. They're thanking you, Chris. And
I appreciate it.
That's a wrap for us. See you tomorrow. Adios. Stay safe, Chris. Don't get blown away, bro.
All right.
Okay. See ya.
Bye.